Welcome to the Grind and Greatness podcast, where we dive deep into the world of relentless determination, hard work, and unwavering dedication to help you unlock your full potential. We're your hosts, Jonathan and Joseph, and your mentors along this journey to greatness. Each week, we'll bring you inspiring stories, expert insights, and practical tips where we've turned our dreams into reality through sheer grit and resilience. Whether you're looking to excel in your career, improve your health and well-being, or simply level up in life, this podcast is your go-to source for strategies, motivation, and the mindset needed to achieve personal excellence. Welcome to the show, guys. Episode 3, actually. And we're going to be diving into Jonathan's story. Last time you heard all about me, and now we're going to learn all about Jonathan. And again, remember, we have two very different upbringings, two very different current lives and situations. And so we hope that you can find a connection with one of us, if not both of us, and that we are bringing you some value from our perceptions and point of views to help you grow and develop in some way, shape, or form, to include mental toughness and discipline. But without further ado, Jonathan, man, how are you doing?
Man, I'm grateful again, as always, to be here, to have this platform, to impact and to, strive for greatness, man, right? Just improve.
I love it. So real quick before we dive into your story, man, like, why mental toughness?
Mental toughness is, I like to call it EQ. It's imperable to build emotional intelligence, to learn how to handle adversity and opposition, right? Because that's what life is. Life doesn't care how you feel. Life doesn't care where you came from. And it's going to punch you in your mouth. And it's going to always punch you in the mouth. And how you handle that mentally is going to dictate how fast you're able to move to the next level. And once you understand how to get punched in the mouth and you kind of roll with it, you can start moving a little bit quicker.
Heck yeah. I love it, man. Not being a victim of your environment.
Take the punch. I'm asking for more punches.
I love it, man. Yeah. Well, let's get into some punches, man. We're going to break this interview up into kind of like 3 sections. Little Jonathan, little Jojo. They call me Jojo. You can be Jojo too, though. Kind of midlife, I would say teens to 20s. And then present and future is going to be the last section. So real quick, man, just give us a brief background of how you were raised, who was around, what was the environment like, where were you, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, which is not a small town. It's a little mid-town, home of Texas Tech Red Raiders, throw your guns up. And, I grew up with a family of 4. I didn't actually grow up with a family of 4, but I have a family of 4. I have a brother, an older sister, and another older brother, and I was the baby. So I'm the baby, all right? I did grow up with just my father and my youngest brother next to me, which is about 7 years apart. My 2 older siblings were already too old. I was definitely a mistake on my
As long as you know.
Yeah. So I think my dad was like 44 when he had me. So I was the baby. And so it was me and my brother, who is about 7 years older than me, and my pops, right? And so, I grew up in the streets. I'm not going to lie. I grew up in poverty. I remember my dad making, to this T, to the exact number, $998 a month, right?
Oh, wow.
And so he didn't have a job. He got into an accident where he has some disability. And so he got a government check. And so we lived off $998 a month. And so growing up, didn't know any better, didn't know I was poor, whatever, because that was the environment. We grew up in the streets. This is kind of how the things were. My father didn't take on that fatherly role of discipline. All right. He didn't take on that fatherly role as in terms of, coaching, mentoring, guidance. He took on a role of love, support, care, and just making sure that I was taken care of. Right. And, I did a little bit of thinking, throughout the years of wondering, where was that role at? And, go deeper into the stories. My dad grew up in an orphanage home. He had no parents. Wow. And so he didn't have love and he didn't have care and he didn't have support. And so that was my role my dad took. But unfortunately, that's kind of like being your best friend. And so that's exactly what my dad was. He was my best friend. And so my older brother, who was 7 years apart, tip my hat off to him. He took that role of discipline, of structure, of being mentally tough and having to, build a man into a hard environment, because our environment was tough. It was basically you're just surviving. There's no thriving. How to survive, and you either be killed or you either kill or get killed, right? Yeah. Type of deal. For sure. And so that's how I grew up. And so I remember some just hard times. right? And I could just remember going back to elementary school, walking about 3 to 5 miles to school with no car. We didn't have a car.
Dang.
Yeah, and so I was kind of hoping that somebody would pick us up. Just a little child going through the heat and going to the winter. It got hot and it got cold, and that didn't happen. But I remember upgrading to bikes, and I don't remember what was worse, walking or getting a bike. Just quads. Right? I do not know.
Legs are burning.
Legs are burning. But yeah, so growing up, that's just, how I grew up. I grew up very competitive. I can kind of, relate that to my brother, because my brother did take that disciplined role, but he did it in a more intense way. I want you to think drill sergeant type way, but also with no restrictions. So my brother physically and mentally abused me to toughen me up to be able to be like him. He was a savage.
Yeah.
My brother was, everybody on the block knew who my brother was. Nice. Right? He was handsome. He was light complected. He was fit. He had colored eyes. He could talk the talk. Bro, everything about my brothers I looked up to. Right? And so whatever he was giving me, this discipline to be like him, just complete savage, and to kind of take over and be able to kill and hunt. It was pretty intense. So a couple of examples of what I remember growing up is, I would run plays 3-4 hours long, and I would be crying, and I wouldn't be able to go inside until I ran the play perfectly. And I didn't have a mother to be like, get on to my brother for it, bring him back in type. Doesn't have that, And so, the next thing I just wanted to just emphasize, so that way you understand my personality, is that during football, he was big on football. If I missed like more than a couple of balls, he'll take me into the backyard, and he would pin me against the fence, and he'll walk about maybe 5-8 yards. All right. And he would throw the football, a bullet to my face, and he expected me he would keep throwing it until I caught it.
Dang.
And so I can remember crying and maneuvering, and he would get mad if I tried to move.
Yeah.
Like he would try to punch me if I tried to move. And so I was forced for hours on end trying to catch this bullet in my face until I caught it. Then I was able to go back inside.
For sure.
Right. So that was my childhood. Yeah. All right. All the way up into junior high, where my brother was kind of in and out of this house. He was a troublemaker. He got into drugs, got into girls, got into just a troublemaker. This dude could run the world and didn't give F's about freaking anybody.
Yeah.
And that was my guidance. That was my role model. All right. And also, I do want to bring in that I grew up watching Rocky movies.
Hell yeah.
All right, that's super important. Van Damme movies.
Heck
Those are my heroes. Like, my brother's a hero, but he was a bad hero. Like, he was doing the terrible things and telling me not to do them. So I would watch Rocky Balboa movies and Van Damme movies. Those guys, I to be honest, those were my real heroes, dude. I looked up to them like every single day, wanted to be just like them.
Well, what's funny, speaking on that real quick, is that I feel like the Rocky movies have got more motivational and mentorship-ish along the ways. Like, Sylvester Stallone, hats off to him, because as he's gotten older, I think he's learned how many people he's impacting.
Yeah.
Like Rocky 1 through 3
changed my life, dude.
Right? But 4 and beyond, dude,
4 turned the
crazy.
game.
And then you go into the Expendables.
Yeah.
Right? And you're just like, man, like, I do hats off to Sylvester Stallone, who just really stepped into a role of mentoring and leading by example.
Yeah, man. Arnold.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone, Van Damme, these guys, man, I looked up to. Bruce Lee. Like, these are some heroes, man.
Yep.
So yeah, that was me. I was a dog, man. My brother created a freaking monster.
Yeah.
All right. And that role took on into junior high.
Yep.
All right. Junior high, it was eye opening, because here I am in junior high, 7th grade. And literally, I remember the first question being asked is, what color do you like? And that kind of determined which gang I was going to be in, red or blue, Crip or blood. And because my friends are already chose the color, I was like, hey, I'm a Crip, I'm with them. Yeah. And you think that sounds silly, but really, you're gonna get beat up if you don't choose, or you're gonna get beat up if you choose the wrong color. And so I'm there with my homies, and middle school is different for me. For most people, they wouldn't expose themselves to this type of environment to high school. Right. So in middle school, I got exposed to really fast drugs, alcohol, sex, girls, and also sports, because I excelled. Now, I didn't excel because it was a natural ability. I excelled because I just knew how to outwork and chase somebody down and eat them up. It was a hunt. And that's what my brother taught me. Everybody did Pee-wee. Everybody did all the, recreational sports. I didn't have money for none of that. So I did start off late, but I came in hungry.
Yeah.
And that competitiveness really drove me to excel in sports. And when you get good at sports, guess what happens next? You kind of get popular.
Yep.
right?
Yep. And you know, I think it's cool to think about you were so good at sports because you're used to playing with someone who's 7 years older than you.
Yeah.
You know, your brother was the only one you could play with.
Yeah.
And so when you go play against people your own age and size, you're probably like, man, this is easy.
Well, I mean, I didn't have the structure. Like, I didn't have the IQ of what sports were. Yeah. I just had, if I let this dude down, he's going to beat me up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Right? And so I wanted to make him proud. Well, I would probably go home and get beat up. Yeah. I didn't want that. So let me go ahead and beat everybody else up. And that's the mentality I had. I was sticks and bones, but I was a guy not to mess with. Yeah. If you looked at me the wrong way, I'm going to tell you something. And it seems weird. I'm like 115 pounds. To a grown person. Don't look at me the wrong way. I'm going to let you know. Yeah. But that was just how this dude was beating me up on the daily, that I'm used to just talking like this. Yeah. But cool stories. That's kind of how I met my wife today. I was a basketball stud in 7th grade, and she was the hot cheerleader.
Heck
Shout out to my hot wife.
That's so cool, man. Man, put it in the comments, like, how many of you know or are still dating or married to your middle school girlfriend?
That's pretty ridiculous. Boyfriend. Please don't say that you did, because you don't know who that guy's going to be as a grown person. That's a lottery ticket type situation. You're either going to win the super lotto, or you're just going to be another statistic.
You're gonna end up homeless.
Like, dude, I told my wife, like, what were you thinking, dude? Like, honestly, that is a terrible idea. Anyways, we're just kids.
Yeah.
So, transition to high school. I fell in love with basketball, but deep obsession. You couldn't take that basketball away from me. I had goals, dreams, and aspirations to go into the NBA. Very cool. And nobody could tell me any different. Yep. Because my grind it showed that this is what I wanted. You couldn't take a basketball, but I was unfocused at the same time, because I was still doing drugs, weed, gangs, but still with like a basketball. It was weird. Carried a basketball around. What'd you say?
But those basketballs you fool.
Yeah. So, but my high school unfortunately gave us a long lunch period, man. About an hour and a half.
Too much time for you.
Too much time for any kid who had a car.
Yep.
And so, unfortunately, I made some wrong decisions at that young age, and I got Desi pregnant junior year.
Crazy.
Which. Cool story. I thought she was lying because I just broke up with her a week before. Because our story, we're kids. We kind of broke up, got together, broke up, got together type deal. And so I thought this was one of her strategies to get me back together. But I was like, for real this time. Yeah. Like, baby, it's over. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm pregnant. I was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Gave me the test. And I'm like, yes, you are. Yes. Oh, okay. Crazy. And just being a man of my word, I'm not going to bail or anything like that. So it's crazy because we came up with a game plan that I was going to work at Sonic. Badass. And take care of this baby.
Bring home cheap free food.
I was going to sell weed for gas money and stuff like that. And so it seemed, man, my plan seemed legit, bro. I had a plan. We wrote it down. I don't know what she did with the plan, but that thing was on paper.
Yeah. And let's talk about a little bit more about that. Like, man, what was the next, 5 years like as baby number 1 comes out?
Yeah, so, Desi gets pregnant, we leave, her daddy kicks her out, and she moves to Austin, and I follow suit, right? So, here I am I'm a teenager, and with the son, Jeremiah, my oldest, and I'm trying to finish school early, but also get a job. Mm-hmm. And so the next phase of my life is, dude, here I am just trying to figure out who I am, trying to figure out how to live with somebody and live with their parents, and trying to figure out how to be a parent. And then it was chaotic. It was crazy. But unfortunately, fortunately, this is where I had the pleasure of kind of meeting my first mentor, which is my father-in-law, Pa Suleika, because this was a high performer. Mm-hmm. This is a guy that could sell anything. All right. I want you to think of Wolf of Wall Street type sales. All right. Badass. This guy can sell anything. Yeah. So he got me a job at this dealership.
Car dealership?
Car dealership. Okay. Yep. Car dealership. And he just taught me work ethic, man. He would just mentor me. He would just talk to me. And I don't know why, man. I was no good. He's no good, but he poured into me. Obviously, I think he needed to pour into me to be good to his daughter, right? For sure. But it worked, man, because here I am. I start off detailing cars. I'm about to graduate, so maybe 17. Okay. 17. And I'm about to graduate a year early. I'm doing this program for the babies and stuff like that. So
you got your GED?
I actually graduated with a diploma. Okay. Yeah, it was an early graduation program that I did. That I would go halftime school, halftime dealership, and then, yeah. So here I am, dealer, and then I get mentored by the guys there, right? And, cool thing about detailing, it teaches you detail.
Attention to detail.
Attention to detail,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so, because this driver from sports and being competitive, I was like, what's next, right? And so I moved into cleaning the shop. That was the next step. Went from cleaning the shop. At this point, I graduated high school. And now I'm cleaning the shop and trying to make an attempt to go to college. Dude, I wasn't great at school. Maybe I didn't get into it. I wasn't great at school. I wasn't a very smart kid. I flunked the first grade, and I was just never interested. I always leveraged everybody around me to get work done because of my popularity, friendship. So I was able to naturally just use my resources.
Are you using me right now?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So to all my businesses, I always leverage, but for the greater good. It's not to use you. It's to go out and impact. So I have a gift to be able to pitch a great picture of impact and, help and serve other people, right?
Sell the dream.
Sell the dream. Yeah. And so here I am in school and dude, I just got very frustrated with college because I'm still a kid, trying to raise a kid, trying to be with a woman that I don't know how to be with because at this point we moved in together. So now we're out of mentorship from our parents. Like, once again, thank God and praise and, tip my hat off for Vicky Slika and Paul Slika because they were the mentorship to keep us together because we were chaotic for each other. The fights were crazy. We were young. We were immature. We were, just a firework waiting to be another statistic, right? It was meant to be that we're going to get divorced. So shout out to them. But yeah, like I said, I'm in college and now, dude, I'm just sitting here taking math all over again. I was like, dude, what am I doing here? Like, this is not helping me trying to get to my next thing. My next thing was, for some reason, I wanted to do real estate because that's what rich people did. Yeah. And then so I couldn't get to that. I couldn't start studying it until I finished because I bombed, the test to get to. So I got to retake my remedials. So here I am, like taking these tests all over again about math. And I'm like, dude, this is it, bro. Like, I gave it a year. It's not for me. Desi did all my homework anyways.
Shout out to Desi. She has a degree.
Yeah. And so I got out, man. I got out. So now it's me, Desi. Desi made it because of a product environment. I quit. Quitting's a habit. And it's contagious. And it leaked to Desiree. So Desiree further quit about 6 months later. Dang. It wasn't for us. She got the job in the dealership too. So here we are at the dealership.
Dang.
But once again, competitive. Went from cleaning the floors to becoming an oil change guy.
Okay.
All right. What's the next level? Gotta have some next levels because I'm just competitive. I didn't have basketball in my life no more, so I didn't know what to do besides just rise up in ranks. Became oil change, then became an automotive technician. Now this is where there was no more competitiveness because becoming an automotive technician was like the top that you can do. All right, and it's also not a passion of mine. I was probably the only guy in that shop who didn't like cars. I was just doing it because it's what I fell into and it was the level to this. Yeah. And I wasn't great at what to do. When you don't like what you do, you're not good for anybody.
For sure.
Dude.
That's powerful.
You're not good for anybody. And there's no reason why I couldn't become a great technician. There's great technicians who make great money. Yeah. But I promise you they're passionate about what they do. 100%. All right. And I have friends who are passionate about it. But they knew during that time period, I always got passionate about something else. I fell in love with fitness. Okay. It was my outlet.
And how old are you at this point?
So
19,
now I'm like
20?
No, 21.
Okay.
All right. So it took me a couple years to get into automotive technician. So now I'm about 21, maybe 21. And so I would find myself just working out every day. All right. Once again, this was a 1.0 version of myself where I did not do any self-development whatsoever. I was a young kid who was lost, who drank a little too much, who took a lot of my older environments from how my brother and I used to treat my children the exact same way. Besides the physical abuse, I kind of gave them that mental abuse of we're going to practice before practice, we're going to practice after practice, and we're not going to go inside until you get this right. Yeah. Because that was what I was taught. Yeah. And because I saw like just a little bit of success from, rising in the ranks. It wasn't big success, but it's a movement. I got it from hard work. Right. And so I wanted to be sure that if anything, my kids were going to be hard. But unfortunately, when you do that and you have a wife, that doesn't work out when you treat your children like that. Right. And so we'd always fight. We'd always bicker. And it just built a bad relationship with me and everybody in my family. At this point, I'm about to have my second child. So I'm 23. So now I have Jeremiah and there's Braden the baby. And this continued, this lifestyle of me, this type of attitude, this career that I had that was stagnant because I had no passion, this relationship with my wife that was just kind of getting worse with separation because the way I was just treating everybody for about 8 years. Dang. It was into the system.
Yeah.
All right. So growing up poor, I got a job, right? Got this career, but also at the same time, I bought a 5-bedroom house.
Say it one more time.
I bought a 5-bedroom house.
A little louder
I
for the
leased
people in
a
the
new
back.
car, and I was living the American dream.
You're 23,
21 when I bought the house.
21 when you bought a 5-bedroom house.
5-bedroom house, leased a new car.
What was the car that you leased?
It was like the brand new Honda Accord. It was nice. Brand new Honda Accord.
Ugh.
All right. And so I want to be able to express that you're a product of your environment unless you start learning something else, right? Because I grew up poor. I've always fancied the lifestyle of the rich and famous, right? I wanted to feel like I made it, like I was success, because here was my environment was very low quality, right? And this is what most people get stuck in. Because you live in a low quality environment, you want to feel rich. So you buy things you can't afford to make you kind of hide that burden, right? And so that's what I did. I started competing with the Joneses. I got the American dream. You got a career, you got a house, you got a wife, you got kids, you got the car, right? But what you don't know is that person is living paycheck to paycheck, who's tired, who's exhausted, who doesn't live with purpose, who's not taking care of their wife, who isn't pouring into their kids like they should be. And you get stuck in this cycle of, dude, you're just doing it. You're waking up every day. It's almost like a bad dream. And it seemed like a blur because this lasted for 8 years, all the way up to, or 7. I was 16 or 17 when I got the job, but I worked for Honda up until 26 years old.
Okay, so almost 10 years.
All right, so almost 10 years of this system, paycheck to paycheck, no drive. Yeah. But I found working out. I say that again because once you find working out, I became a little bit obsessed. There's that obsession that comes into play because I wanted to figure out how to get fit. Yeah. Right. And here I am meal prepping all my meals. The only thing I knew about bodybuilding at the time. And I did it for a whole year, lost a whole bunch of weight. But I was like, man, if this is what health and fitness looks like, eating, chicken breast and rice and broccoli, I don't want no part of it. I remember it was a breaking point because I had a nasty relationship with food because I would eat so healthy that I would binge really hard. And it was just, I was like, dude, I don't want this, man. This is nasty. And it's emotional roller coaster. And so, this is my first where I started learning how to deep dive, where I go deep into actually learning a topic. Yeah. And I found nutrition. I found Lane Norton. This is where flexible dieting, counting your macros was like insane if you did it because it just really didn't make sense other than chicken, broccoli, and brown rice. Yep. Right. And so I went with it, man. I started to read peer reviews, started to go deep into it, and I followed it, saw great success. That success led me to do bodybuilding shows. The bodybuilding shows led to me gaining momentum in my life of actually winning. And people started to take notice. Now I say people, I'm talking Instagram. Yeah. People are reaching out for help.
Okay.
All right. And this is actually where I meet my one of my close friends now, clients, who at the time I think lived in New York. He wanted me to be his nutrition coach. And so, I went for it. But he gave me this book called The Artist's Way. And this is my very first self-development book. And it started, speaking into existence, started creating your future and how to build, right? Get creative. And so from there, man, right there, that first book, it started opening up these possibilities of believing in myself. All right. And, the very first thing before you can do anything in life is you first have to win in your own life. And I was winning in my fitness and nutrition. Still terrible in all the other areas, but I got some success. Yep. Right. And so here I am about 26. And I saw a little bit of success in my fitness and I'm like, dude, I'm going to do this full time. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know what I was thinking, but I told my wife, hey, in 3 months, when I turn 26, I'm quitting this job that had 401k, that had insurance, that I've been doing for 10 years, that has taken care of this house. Even though we're paycheck to paycheck, it's building the stability. I say stability with quotations because we can talk about later topics. There's no such thing. But once again, to the average person, that you're living the American dream. And I've told that. Yeah. I've been told that plenty of times when I start talking about future stuff. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Why are you making these moves? Because I told my wife in 3 months I'm quitting cold turkey to go on this fitnesspreneur thing and I'm going to build something great.
Crazy.
And she was like, no, the fuck not. And I was
Smart woman.
yes, the fuck I am. Like, there's no point. There is no getting through my head. This is going to happen.
Yeah.
And because I spoke that into existence, as people start to understand, when you start believing in yourself, opportunities start showing up now, because now you have the perspective is open for you to receive. And, 1 month goes by, and I get a call, not a call. I get introduced to somebody who's from Camp Gladiator. And they're like, hey, I have this fitness opportunity for you that, I want you to look into. And I'm like, oh, man, this is what I was looking for. Let me see what it's about. So they took me to this outdoor boot camp in downtown Austin. There's fit people. This trainer was amazing. I was like, man, this is great. And then, he talks to me afterwards. And all he had to do was show me his paycheck. And he did. Like, he was put out his phone and show me his paycheck. And it was over 10K. And I was like, in my head, I can do it better. Just some competitiveness in me, right?
Never done it before.
But I'm gonna do it better. I just know that I'm all in.
It's a hell of a mentality.
Yeah, I can do it better. And so, dude, they told me that the onboarding phase was gonna take about 46 weeks. And I said, okay. I went home to my wife. I told her, hey, I'm quitting tomorrow on my job. And then I'm going to do this. And I'm going to use my 401k. I had about 30K.
Yeah.
All right.
Ugh.
And I'm going to do this. And she's like, deep breath. This motherfucker's crazy. But I don't think there's anything I can say to take him back, right? Go for it. Thank you.
Ooh.
All right.
Ooh.
Went for it. And, that's 4 to 6 week process. Took me about 1 week because, when somebody's all in, you'll do some incredible stuff, right? So went all in, did that 46 week process in 1 week, and I was a Camp Gladiator trainer, not knowing what the hell I was doing whatsoever. I was a natural introvert. I don't like speaking in front of people.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, like you can't tell because it's a skill that needs to be built over time.
Yeah.
All right, that's super important. More topics to discuss about that. But dude, here I am, scared to freaking death because I'm so much in my uncomfortable zone, man. I don't like talking to people, leading people. I don't know too much about exercises, cueing. I wasn't all in with the actual personal training aspect. I knew about nutrition.
Yeah.
Right. I knew how to get people shredded.
Eat chicken and broccoli
while eating Pop-Tarts because that was my still thing. All right, eating flexible dieting. Right, that was my thing. And you know what? It was an emotional roller coaster because here I am not knowing what I'm doing, and 3, 4, 5, 6 months go by, and I run out of money. What am I left to do? Do I go back into the system and do something that I don't love to do just to make a living, just to get by? Or do I figure out a way? Figure out a way, bro.
Figure out a way.
Like your story, sink or swim type situations, always the best moments. We need to understand this. The best freaking moments.
When you hit like rock bottom when your back's against the wall.
Best moments, brother. All right. So I got 4 jobs.
How many?
4.
Okay.
4. CG.
How many do y'all have? Put in the comments. How many jobs y'all have?
Doing whatever it takes, right? Doing it because I had 4 jobs. Or how come you just couldn't get one? Well, CG, you have to work early in the morning. It's just like a mid-morning camp. There's an evening camp. So like these weird pockets.
Yeah.
And if you want to grow this business, you still got to do everything here. But also I needed to go make money elsewhere. So funny story, this humility here. Relationships. I told people what was going on and what I was needing. And once again, when you speak things to existence, I had a buddy of mine who I trained his son in baseball. He owned a franchise of Chicken Express, man.
Heck yeah.
And so he's like, hey man, if you just need some odd hours or like whatever you need, he's like, I can always use help. So I am working at Chicken Express, dude. I'm frying some chicken. And this is why I become my most unfit though.
Yeah. For sure.
Because I'm here. I don't have a whole lot of money, so I'm eating out this chicken and drinking a lot of sweet tea. And but it took care of these odd end type deals, right?
Yeah.
And then so CG, Chicken Express, I did some online nutrition stuff, and then I trained athletes in the evening time, right? Type deal. So whatever it takes. So I did that for about 6 months, and still really no progress in CG.
Yeah. Well, I want to pause real quick because we'll dive into this in the future about time management. Yeah. And I think that's the difference between people who are successful and people who aren't. Is you look at your calendar and you say, man, I got these odd gaps. What can I plug in there that's going to bring me more money, help me grow, help me feed my family, blah, blah. Where most people have these odd gaps and they're like, well, let me scroll on social media. Let me watch Netflix. Let me do it let me take a nap. And that's hugely to think about. So future topic.
No, not only that, just to jump on that real quick is in sink or swim moments, you have no choice.
Very true.
All right. And I didn't know anything about self-development. I haven't started self-development yet. I'm still this kid, right, who just thinks he can conquer the world and just knows how to push through some really hard shit. So like I said, swim moments will unlock a new level of thinking.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
If you have a gun to your head,
you're going to do some different shit.
You're going to start thinking about different ideas to win, okay?
Yep.
All right. So, so they in this franchise, they give you an area director who's kind of your guidance, who's your coach to help you grow your business. And I sat down with them and I was like, dude, what am I doing wrong? Right? What's going on? And, he's like, well, what's your calendar look like? And I was like, what do you mean? What's a calendar? All right. Dude, I'm just
problem number one.
Just working inside the business, don't know how to grow a business. And so he's like, well, look at mine. You pull up his calendar and it was, shout out to Roy Davis. Big shout out to Roy Davis, very first mentor, second mentor that I had, who's really made a drastic impact in my life. Love this guy to death because this is the real life David Goggins to me. Okay. My hero. And his calendar was like free, 3 a.m. all the way up to like 7 p.m. of no gaps, all work. From
military background, Roy Davis, military
background. And dude, and his thing was, we don't take naps. He's like, we wake up at 3, we don't take naps. He's like, in a lot of CG trainers, they take naps. We don't take naps. Right. That was his thing. He used to make fun of people who take naps, bro. And he's like, we hit it hard. And he's like, we do X, 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 breathe, X, 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 breathe, X. And I'm like in shock. I'm like, dude. And he's telling me I suck. And these are these moments in your life where you have another man who truly loves you, who tells you you're suck. He was telling me I sucked. And it's the hardest thing to do because you have this big knot in your throat. And the knot in your throat moments are always the best moments. Because this is where you start understanding this guy's right. I'm not really growing my business. Here I am working all hard. It's false hard, but I'm not working on the right things. And he gave me my first self-development real book, physical book. The other one was just a little podcast, Audible type deal. I read that book. It's called Eat That Frog.
Eat That Frog.
And it's a productivity book. And the concept of it is do the hardest thing first thing in the morning while you have the energy to do it. The ugly frog. Eat it first. And also there's other strategies in that book about productivity. Dude, I read that book, changed my life.
Dang.
Because that changed my life, it gave me structure in my life, how to manage myself, not time, how to manage myself. And I got addicted because I got some wins from it.
Love it.
Because of this book. And so I went to start drinking very heavily from books.
Oh.
Yes. So I went from reading this first book within 6 months. I think I read like 24, 30 books.
Dang.
Right. And I realized if I just kept reading, it was giving me the answers and giving me the clues. And every time I got the clues, I got the answers, I got to apply it. And my life started to shift. It started to change everything around me. And my business started to grow. And I was like, whoa, this has made a big impact and a shift in my life because I saw what it did to my business. I saw what it did to me. And I was like, dude, there's other areas of my life that still suck. I'm still a sorry ass dad. Okay. I'm still a terrible husband because I'm not pouring into these. These are just, this is the way I am.
Right.
There's no learning ways to be a better dad. And I think that's a problem. We think because we're a dad, we're a dad. Just because you have a baby, you're a dad, you're not. You can get better. And so I read a couple of dad books, a couple of coaching books, started building my relationship with my kid, and it started moving in the right direction. And same thing with my wife. I was like, man, if that can make that better, let me start reading some relationship books. Ooh, started reading some relationship books. Boom, boom, boom. I started pouring into my wife. Things started to get better. And I was like, nice. Yo, this is the key right here, bro. If I just keep learning. Who knew? Right? Who knew?
There's books out there for a reason.
There's books, man. And so, man, I started gaining success just everywhere at this point, right? Because I found this little winning recipe that trial and error worked for me. Read some books, gain some success. And I started to rise ranks into CG. Right. So now I'm not just successful as being a franchise owner. They're like, hey, I think you're going to become a great leader. So I was like, cool, let's do it because it's the next thing. Any competitive person, what's the next thing? Got into CG and I sucked being into leadership. Once again, here I am sucking at leadership. So Joseph, what do you think I did?
Read a book.
Not just one book. I kind of strategize it. I at least 10 to 15 books. about one topic.
Put it in the comments how many books you've read your entire life. Jonathan has read more in 6 months than you have your entire life.
So once again, I sucked at leadership, terrible at leadership, because I told people exactly what I felt like they should hear, and that's a terrible strategy. I never connected whatsoever. Didn't care about them. I just wanted them to win, and I'll tell them what to do. Terrible. All right, and so I started reading all the John Maxwell, Jocko Willink. It's like, then I started to shift my behavior, and I was like, "Oh, here we go!" Right? Started winning a little bit into leadership. And at that time, man, I'm in a winning like mood. I was like, Eric Thomas is coming. Type deal.
So jealous.
I'm gonna go see Eric Thomas. And because at this time, even though I was winning, I was still struggling financially. Income was going up, spending more.
Okay.
Once again, it's the mindset of poverty. When you go up poor, right, you just want you want to feel rich. So I just continued that process. And just like anything else, I was like, got to fix that. All right, so I started reading a little bit of books about financial aspects, and then that's how I kind of lingered into Eric Thomas, that he was going to do a conference with real estate, which is financial wealth. And Eric Thomas, right? Get fucking pumped up.
Yeah.
Went to it and sat there. This guy named Jamal King was the real estate part. All right, so he called him 9 to 5 millionaire, and basically because he was an officer for 9 to 5. Until his retirement, but he became a millionaire while he was a 9 to 5 officer, because they have this thing called downtime.
Yeah.
Where the officers don't do anything. Yeah. And most officers go chill, go sit at the park and bullshit, or go eat, or whatever the case may be. He studied real estate. Dang. And he started checking out properties during his downtime, and started buying real estate and using his money from the 8 to 5 to purchase his real estate. Dang. And over the course of years, he was a millionaire. He didn't even know he was a millionaire. He just accumulated all these properties. And so he said this one thing that changed my life forever. He's like, I want a property for every build that I own. Dang. And then he gave me the formula, which is called the BRRRR method. Okay. Right? You buy, you rehab, you refinance, you rent, and you repeat. Dang. And so you get cash flow. Somebody's paying your rent, and somebody's paying their mortgage. So you get cash. So you're getting cash flow from multi-units. Right? Not single family homes. It's a different game. This is scalable. Yep. And you build wealth at the same time. Like, if he can do it, I can do it better.
Love that mentality.
Right. So once again, I'm in a winning season, bro. I'm feeling myself.
Yeah.
So, like anything that I do, I read 24 books about real estate.
That's not that much, man. You could probably have done 30.
Yeah. So the reason I do it, there's always strategies. We'll get into the strategies of how I read and why I read wide, and I narrow it down later. But because of that, all this reading, I got into analysis paralysis. Yeah. And I got to the point where I was sitting at my bed. I have all this information. I read all these books, and I'm not making any freaking moves. Yep. And I think I'm like at the point financially where I can't keep up. Sink or swim moment. I think I'm about 2 months late on rent, and I'm about to lose everything. Dang. And so at this point, self-development is my key to success. So in the background, I have a podcast going. I think it's Gary Vee. And this guy was just ranting while I'm crying. I'm in tears because I don't know what to do, man. I'm about to lose everything. And I have all this information. And I hear Gary Vee in the background. He's like, dude, if you just eat shit for the next 10 years and you live off fucking sandwiches and you don't give a fuck what people think, and because that's what's holding you back is you care too much what people think, or else you would let go of everything. Yeah. And just light bulb. Boom. Here comes another crazy moment. I told my wife that moment we're selling this house. We're going to live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and we're going to start the real estate journey.
From a 5-bedroom house?
5-bedroom house to 2-bedroom apartment. And at this point, my wife's seen success already. So now she has faith. She's all like, I believe in you, right? Because I've proven success, right? Yeah. And so very thankful for her. She's like, let's do it. What else do we have to lose? Yeah. Right? Did it, man. Took everybody into a 2-bedroom apartment. Me, my family, my dad, my kids. At this point, I have 3 kids and my pops. Yeah. All right. So there's 6 of us. 2-bedroom apartment. Did that. COVID hit. Changed my life only because here I am. I have all this money and I'm about to start this real estate journey, and my franchise is going to shit. Yeah. COVID killed the fitness industry and completely demolished people. Still to this day, people are feeling the effects. And my income's just dropping, bro. And I hear I'm have this money. I don't know what to do. Do you invest it in this market? Nobody knew what was going on, bro. It was scary. And at that same time, losing money. So now I'm spending my money. Yeah. And then I went from like 90K to 20,000. Dang. Read a book. It's called You Already Know Everyone You Need to Know.
Great
I was
book.
like, dude, I only have $20K left. I don't think I have enough money to do anything, nor do I have the credit anymore. I ruined my credit because here I am putting everything on card again because I'm running out of money.
Yeah.
And you need a credit score 800 or 750 to be into real estate to play the game I wanted to play.
Okay.
I had gotten it because I paid everything off, but now it's trash again.
Gotcha.
And lost money. So I know a friend, and here I go pitching a dream. He made over 6 figures, but he worked very long hours, man. And he did something he didn't love to do, and he wants to start a family. I pitched him real estate. I pitched him the bill for, a property for every bill.
Yeah.
And I said, hey man, I took this course. I read these books. I just need X, Y, and Z. Are you in? And I can get you out of the system because nobody's retiring off their 401k.
Yeah.
Let's be real. He's all like, dude, I've been wanting to do real estate for like 10 years. Never made any moves. I was like, you got a move maker right here.
That's all you're about is move making.
I just know how to go, bro.
Yeah.
Did it. He was like, I'm all in. Went down that journey, which is a hell of a roller coaster that I'm sure we'll get into. But till this day, I got 2 units and it's cash flowing, and we're about to get to our next property, which is pretty exciting, man.
Heck yeah, for sure. So let's pivot. So now we've got some real estate going on. We still have Camp Gladiator.
Yeah. Dropping money.
Dropping money. What now? What's going on right now?
So yeah, man. Still, I think there was a reality check when I couldn't bring my franchise back to life. I thought I was a real entrepreneur at this point, saw some success. And being inside of a franchise, people need to realize that you're an entrepreneur. You're not a real entrepreneur. They do a lot of heavy lifting. They create the game plans for you. All you do is work them, right? Well, their game plan's not working no more. So they essentially said, hey, you're your own entrepreneur. Grow your own business. And I was stoked, bro. Ready to put my skills to the test. I remember talking to my man, Sergio. Bro, we're going to crush it. Let's do it. I crushed nothing. And it was a reality check, dude. All right. So I have all my income, all in these properties. I can't touch them. It's being used, being leveraged. I'm dropping money. And bro, I got to find something new.
Yeah.
All right. So here I'm working CG. I got this real estate deal happening. I have no money. And I'm about to get to the point where I can't pay rent again.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm living into a 5-bedroom house again.
Yep.
So I'm back living in this lifestyle, but this time with a purpose. I got 6 kids. I'm not 6 kids, but 7 family members in this household. So there's a purpose now, and my money matched the income. All right. So,
Okay.
All right. But here I am losing everything all over again, bro. Here I am. What do I do? So I get an opportunity, and I didn't get to, I don't think you heard this, but I had an opportunity to either get a leadership role, leadership role pays almost 6 figures, right? Mm-hmm. It's a high skill job. Or because I'm a dog and I'm competitive, I really truly believe I'm going to be an entrepreneur, but I'm lacking some information.
Okay.
All right. So I have a choice. Do I find a job that's going to allow me to read as many books as possible? Or do I choose a leadership role that's going to require everything all of me, right? Where I'm not going to be able to read, right? Gotcha. Because I'm doing all these other things. Yeah. And so here I am. Do I choose an almost like settle type deal? Mm-hmm. Or do I choose to go learn about my gaps that I need to become a real entrepreneur? Yeah. And so I was like, okay, easy answer. I'm going to choose a job.
Okay.
Why? Is because I know let's suffer now, because I know it's going to pay off later. So I found a job. I was like, what job can I do that I can just demolish books? I listen to books, by the way. I don't actually read a book. It's the way my mind works. And so here I chose Amazon. Driving and delivering packages. Why? Because I had a book in my ear for 8 to 10 hours a day.
Smart.
And it was the toughest 6 months in my entire. I gave myself 6 months because Amazon wouldn't pay enough for my lifestyle before I would crumble. Yeah. So I gave myself 6 months. But let me tell you, depression, anxiety, fear, all that success, don't have nothing right now. I lost it all. I'm a failure. Here I am back to pantry. It's nothing in the pantry. Kids are like, what the fuck's going on? I'm donating plasma twice a week. Crazy. And here I am knowing that I'm going to be a millionaire one day and I'm going to own business and I'm going to make an impact on this world. But here I am with needles in my arm, real estate happening, me doing a failing franchise, me and Amazon. And I'm like, this is fucking crazy. I don't know how long I can keep this up, man, because I haven't seen my family working 15, 18 hours a day, but all I can have is faith. And I think I cried every week in the car. Yeah. And I would cry to my wife too, because I knew she needed to know where I was at, because she is she was coach. She got me through the hardest times, the toughest times. And without her, I wouldn't be able to keep pushing forward because she has complete faith in me. And I just knew that the story was going to create something special inside of me. And I just went all in. And that little voice in your ear, that doubt, that fear, that guy that's telling you you're a failure, it was very loud at the beginning, but as I got it to get control and I would talk to it and I would shut it up and I would talk to myself because I think that was depression. It was so loud.
Yeah.
It started to get quiet as I started to own my day. I started mastering my day. I started to say, if this is what the fuck my hours are, I'm going to work out. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to read. I'm going to continue to do everything that I already did. And I'm not going to let this defeat me.
Yeah.
And I started to win mentally, as in like, dude, if I can handle this,
you handle anything,
bro, I could fucking conquer the world.
For sure.
And I got out of it. 6 months came. I was like, all right, I got the information I need. I started Elite Mind Athletes. And I was like, all right, but I also need to be financially well off. And so this is where the transition came to. I needed a higher paying job. Knew a guy, pitched him that I would be a problem solver in his business. And I didn't know what role it was. I'm just saying, hey, it sounds like in your business that you're growing, you're scaling at a fast rate. You got to step back and start letting people take ownership in other areas. And I just sold myself as a problem solver, and which was, gave me the project management role. And now I got another role of warehouse manager. It's a combination because I sold myself as a problem solver. And now I'm back into the 8 to 5 system, grinding that out and also starting fresh with a new business. Right? Starting fresh with a new business. So here I am, 8 to 5. I got this dream to, teach the next generation of how to go through that grind.
Yeah.
And how to overcome and how to stay disciplined and how to do the things you should be doing, but your mind's telling you not to do it.
For sure.
And that's how you create personal excellence. That's how you create just a high level of execution. And when you do that, man, your life starts to change. All you got to do is build that confidence of winning.
Yep.
And so that's where I am today.
Love it. Man, a lot to take in. Highs and lows, 5 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, money, no money.
No money, 4 jobs, 2 jobs, 4 jobs again. Like it's an emotional roller coaster, man.
And I think, again, guys, we want you to be able to connect with each of us, if not both of us, but very different on our success journey.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that, whatever. And I maximize it. And you're very like, I see myself doing this, so I'm gonna go execute.
I'm a dreamer.
You're the dreamer. I don't know what you call me. I just go with the flow.
Bro, you go and just go hard. You go and you're competitive to go harder.
Yeah. So again, guys, whether you have a dream or whether you're in a situation right now that someone else got you into, both of us
you can
maximize today.
You can win.
Yep. I love it. Well, man, hell of a story. We're going to dive more into our stories at every episode probably because we're going to talk mostly about our experiences and how we got through them. And so, but if you have any questions, you want more information on any of those parts of his story or my story, just put it in the comments or reach out to us personally and let us know. But man, hell of a story, bro. Man. Yeah, shoot. I should have freaking packed a bag.
Yeah.
But that's it for me, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate this opportunity, like, again. And let's just impact, bro.
Impact.
Let's create this thing, dude. Let's blow it up.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. You have an amazing day. Make today your best day.